is, while you do not deal with the emotions relating to the family of origin,
Yes.
you will still have these disconnects with God.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important to work through this emotionally.
Yes.
So remember, I think it was point number 3 in my introductory portion of the last segment. I mentioned that it's very, very important to process through things emotionally.
Yes.
Right? This is the secret to growth, in fact. So you want to process emotionally the blockages. You just can't have intellectual realizations without emotional work. And the emotional work has to be done, but it has to be done in truth with the person or the memory related to the person with regard to who that particular emotion or how that particular emotion entered you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no point blaming God when God didn't do anything.
No.
But again, I still have this emotional distance from God, so that's what I need to do.
Yes.
Yep.
And be aware too that many of these things are like they do come off in like the New Age concept of onion layers and things like that. Like they are like that emotionally. There are emotions at this point in time that you can bear, and God knows you can bear and work your way through, and God's trying to lead you to those specific emotions first, right? And then there are emotions that are deeper than that are going to require a lot more emotional willingness for emotional intensity that you're currently not prepared for, which you cannot actually process until you're prepared emotionally to go through that kind of overwhelming experience. And so it's going to be a growing emotional expansion that occurs. So, and this you'll find this applies to all of your emotions. So there are times when you will actually work through a whole group of emotions. You may think you've dealt with it, and my feelings nowadays is I don't feel I've ever dealt with anything completely because there's still more to go. Yeah. And I'm realising that as I deal with that one thing, another thing comes exposed that I wasn't aware of before then that I need to then work my way through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the reason why I wasn't aware before then is because I was not emotionally prepared to be overwhelmed to that degree.
Yes.
Right, to experience that emotion.
Yes.
Right. So in the spirit world, what happens when you arrive in the spirit world, and if you want assistance in the spirit world, what will happen is that people who are assisting you will only tell you your next emotion. They will not tell you anything else.
And that's what God's trying to do, hey? Because I'm starting to go, all right, trying to long for God's love. And I just get another whammo. And then I'll go, oh, this is useless sometimes.
So God, in that process, God's trying to just show you this particular thing is stopping you now, right at this moment.
And it's the next thing you need
That's
to
the next thing.
Yeah.
And that's the way God works, and it's also the way spirit world works. But see, your fear doesn't want you to work that way.
No.
What you want is the answers to everything before you deal with anything. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The majority of people are like that, right? On Earth, they want the answers to everything before they deal with anything. And the problem with that is you finish up dealing with
nothing.
And
you feel worse.
Yeah. So it's really good if you can get used to this concept that God's always trying to lead you to the next thing, and the next thing is God's already attempting to expose for you. All you need to be able to do is recognize it and process it. Right? And the spirits around you are also trying to do the same thing with you.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason why they do it that way is because they know that that's the very next thing that needs to be addressed. Yeah. And if you address that particular thing, then there's a thing after that you'll have expanded enough to address.
Yeah.
You follow?
And it's just having the courage to keep going and trusting.
To trust the process until it's done. Yeah. You'll know when it's done because you'll be at one with God when it's done. Right? So you'll know when it's done. And if you're not at one with God, it's not done. And you just need to understand that. So I don't go, oh yeah, I've only got 5 more to go and I'm there, That's not how I feel at all. I know that there's things that I am completely unaware of right at this point in time, emotionally inside of me that I have not yet expanded emotionally enough to deal with,
Yeah.
that I need to expand emotionally enough to deal with, and God's already showing me what those things are. It's just whether I'm willing to feel about them right now or not.
Yeah. It's a big problem, eh?
So pass across to Cass.